Alright guys, so today I'm gonna review or do a follow-up to my original review of my 2016 Toyota 4Runner Trail. If you remember, about a year, maybe a year and 3 months ago, I did my original review of the truck when I first bought it. And I'll start with the radio right here in front of me. Same thing I did last time, same thing I said last time. The radio is, I believe, a digital antenna. There's no consistent sound. You will be listening to music and 15 seconds in, it will sound like a little more muffled or a little less muffled or whatever. There's just no consistent sound. Not extremely bothersome. It is kind of annoying when you're listening to the radio, but talking about the radio still, when you put your I don't know if people listen to CDs anymore, but I have some CDs, or you connect your phone with Bluetooth or with the USB or whatever, the sound is fantastic. These speakers are just excellent. I like the radio sound, or I like the sound of the speakers and everything. The radio and the way that it connects and plays stations and everything, not so much. The other thing I'll talk about, last time we talked about fuel economy, and I told you then, and I'll tell you the same now. If you don't want to spend a bunch of money on fuel, don't buy this car. This car eats gas like crazy. You spend a lot of money. It's crazy because it has, I think 22 gallons, and I'm used to a Honda Civic, and I'll put 22 gallons into it. It'll be a decent amount of money, and then I will start the car and it'll tell me that it has less than 300 miles of range. So don't buy this car if fuel economy is important to you, because you will not get it. Right now I'm averaging 15.7, which is actually pretty good for this car. When I first got it, if you remember, I was doing 13.8 or something like that the first few weeks, and then I got up eventually to around 15. Now I'm at 15.7, so that's pretty good. Next thing, acceleration. So how does it drive? It's fantastic. We've gone on a few trips now, and I'll talk about two things here. I'll talk about the way that it drives, and then the convenience of, the utility you get out of the car, just because of the size of the car, and the way it's laid out. Went to San Francisco a few times with the kids and my wife, and went to Sequoia, went to a few different places to give you an idea of the miles that I have on the car. But we drove up there, and obviously want to get there quickly, want to get back even more quickly. The way that it drives is just amazing. It is rougher than a Highlander or something, right? I've said that before. It's a truck. It's not meant to be one of those SUVs that feels like a car. But at the same time, it is athletic. That is the way that I would describe it. It's athletic. When you are maneuvering, when you're weaving and stuff, it's just fantastic. It really responds. You feel, again, the best way to describe it is athletic. It's fit. It's not a fat, overweight, heavy. It is heavy, but it doesn't feel like it. It's not overweight. And then looking out the front end, I'll talk about another thing. I don't know if anybody else that has this model 4Runner has experienced the same thing. The whole truck is boxy, right? So the hood it's not inclined significantly. It sits like this. So it's not very inclined, and so the water sits on there. So if you do get one, just be careful. Get it washed often enough. If it rains, make sure you get it washed immediately. At least focus on the hood, because like I said, it just sits like this. It will burn into your clear coat. It did for me. The other thing I was going to cover is the amount of space in the car. It's really comfortable. It's just the perfect size. Now, there's 4 of us, so if you have more people, it may not be as comfortable. For us, it's perfect. The trunk is fantastic. There's so much space. While I'm talking about the trunk, the one thing I wish I would have gotten, I would recommend that you get, I wish they have this little electronic button on the back of the tailgate, where when you open it and you press that button, it will automatically electronically close the trunk or the tailgate. Get that. It's extremely convenient. It's so annoying having to just pull it down. You'll have things in your hands, you'll have the kids, you don't want them to run on the street, and you can't close the trunk because you have to reach all the way, and you got to pull it, and then you got to push it once it gets down. It's just, I know it sounds really lazy of me, and maybe it is, but I wish I would have got that. If there was one feature I would have added, I would have got that. But the trunk space, fantastic. So much space. We had a cooler We had a few suitcases, all the kids stuff. Everything got in. Everything was really comfortable. The drive was great. And like I said, it's athletic. It was so, the whole trip felt much more convenient because of this car. And that may also be if you get, I don't know, a Pilot or something. Maybe it's the same. But again, like I said, I like the look of this car. I like the fact that its capability. It's been a year and 3 months, and this up here, like when I first reviewed the car, the crawl control, the train select, and all the 4-wheel drive and all that. 1 year and 3 months I've had the car, maybe 4 months or something. At the start, I used this stuff a few times, like maybe 2 or 3 times, and I just did it for fun. I haven't used it since. Long story short, when I went to buy a car, I wanted to have everything on it. I didn't care because I had driven a Civic for so long. I wasn't going to compromise. So I got all that stuff. But again, a year and 3 months, 4 months, maybe 6 months, haven't used it. I feel like the quality from Toyota has declined. Having the car within 1 year, my rotors completely warped. I know a lot of people say that's how you drive or that's whatever. Maybe it's the weight of the SUV and how hard I brake. I don't know. I've never in my life had rotors be so warped that they couldn't be reworked. My brakes, by the way, when I would brake, my steering wheel would violently. You go over 50 miles an hour, you hit the brake, and the steering wheel would just shake violently. I popped the rotor off. Rotor, visually it didn't look that crazy, and so and there were no grooves or anything in the when you felt the rotor, so I was kind of confused. And I took it to somewhere to get it reworked. They put it on the machine, and then after like 10 minutes, they told me to come to the back. I look at it, and they're like, dude, this thing is just completely bent. And the guy that was there was like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. If you saw the rotor on the machine, it would wobble. I think that's reflective of poor quality. The other thing on quality, while we're on the topic, there are seals on your doors, okay? And I'll show you if I figure out how to overlay videos again. But there are seals on your door. You open your door, you'll see them on the actual door, I believe. Those should not. They're usually put on with tape, and then they have grooves that they click into. Those shouldn't get loose until your car's like 10 years old. On this car, again, like 4 or 5 months in, and my seals were like, they're loose. When you test drive the car, actually, I'd recommend take a look at them, just feel them out and everything. They're pretty loose. Mine they just started coming off. The other thing about quality, and I told you guys this last time, which is funny because the last time I did a review, it was right when I had gotten the truck. It was like 3 months in or something. And the fabric on the seats at the bottom, on the right side, passenger side, just starts, like the bottom of it is just coming off. And again, like Toyota quality, I don't know if they've gotten so arrogant because they've been around this many years and they have the best selling cars and everything. I don't know if they've just gotten arrogant or complacent or whatever. Very annoying, Toyota. I like the height of the car too. I love the height of the car. You can see everything. It feels great. I talked about this thing last time. This thing is fantastic. You can see the sun's actually a little further back this way. I can slide this out and it blocks it. That's fantastic. I love it. It's a small little thing, but it's awesome. So anyway, aside from that, I think all in all, I like the SUV. I'm gonna keep it. I want to keep it long term. Like I said, I bought a Toyota for that reason. I'm hoping there's no more quality issues. If there are, I'll be back on and I'll let you guys know. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I do a lot of stuff myself on my cars. And so I have videos if you guys do buy it and you want to know how to take the skid plate off. If you want to know, because it is complicated on the trail, it's really annoying taking the skid plate off. If you want to know how to do your oil, which is when I needed to take my skid plate off to get to the filter, I have a video on how to change your oil on this car. I am going to mess with this stuff, crawl control and stuff. Hopefully this year I'm going to go out to the mountains a couple more times and try to test it out. I'll give you guys a review on how to use it and how well it works. So if you care to hear any of that, you can either subscribe down below, or you can just come back and search it again. Maybe my video comes up, maybe somebody else's does, and know, you learn about it and you watch it or whatever, you get your feedback. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions and I'll try to address them. I'll do follow-up videos if I have to. So, all right, thanks guys.